I think that yeah, I think that's just how we're going to get better for this. Oregon is they're a really good defensive team as well. I mean, they're a team that they're holding teams to 39% from the field, 29 from the 3-point line. Those are championship numbers. I felt like last year in our game down there, first half, we had 15 points. It was 17-15 with 10 minutes to go in the game, and we had 22 points with, it took us, we scored 7 points in like 20 minutes, or whatever it was. We got to be able to score. You got to be able to score on the road. I know they're going to be chomping on the bit. It's going to be a great game. It'll be a great test for us, great environment to play college basketball, and we just got to focus on us, which is our defense, sharing the ball, and being tougher.
How much different are they without Mobile?
I mean, you're talking about a guy that's such a unique player, shoots it, size, length. It's a big loss for any team. Any team loses a guy of that caliber. It takes a hit, but he's one of the best coaches in college basketball, and his teams just get better. And so other guys step up. Lewis King wasn't playing earlier. Now he's playing. He's a really talented kid. Peyton Pritchard's as good as any guard in our league. They've got veteran players. Paul White played against us. Victor Bailey played against us. Will Richardson was an All-American. Amin is a really, really talented fifth-year player that gave them a lot in a lot of big games this year. They played a tough schedule. Wooten's back. It's the ghost of Wooten. He had 11 blocks in both our games. They haven't had their full team together for a long time now with Bobo. At least they know he's not coming back. Kenny just got back. He's a great coach. They got a lot of pride and tradition. It'll be a really difficult game.
As leaders of the pack, 5-0, how better prepared is your team for this kind of a road trip this season?
You know what? Listen, we prepared ourselves by playing a tough schedule in the preseason and the non-conference. I think that's been, we talked about that. We were struggling so much on starting of games. I felt like we've had good starts other than Cal. We had really good starts, especially the first 5-10 minutes of these games in the league. I think that's been a big difference. Every team, it's interesting. Sometimes it's not like who's in first place, who's in second place, who's in ninth place, who's in 12th place. It goes back to matchups. When we were at Syracuse, we always struggled against Rutgers in the league. Their style of play, the rack, like everybody, it's kind of like the contrast of two different styles. So every team poses a different challenge, and Oregon is really, really good. It's going to be a heck of a challenge.
Is there something about specifically what they do, that really gives this team problems? And it hasn't just been since you've been here, but they've got like a 6 or 7 game win streak that gets you guys. Is it just the way Dana Altman prepares his teams?
He's a really good coach. They play their little matchup zone. They play man-to-man. They've got talented players, skilled positions, athletic positions, shot blockers. Their Final Four team was fun to watch. I remember watching as a fan all the time. And they got a great home court. So, all I know is last year I didn't look too far deeper than that. Like, how did they beat us twice? And they're aggressive. They try to turn you over, and we got to be tougher with that. Can't have turnovers to touchdowns. We got to be able to control the tempo, be tougher, and manage the ball, own the ball.
I know it's different once you get into conference play. Focus becomes a little bit more intense, but how loose are these guys? Because they look like they're having fun out there and still playing well.
Well, you play your best when you're having fun. Winning's fun. Losing is awful. You got to be relaxed. I think our coaching staff's done a really good job. The guys have done a really good job of, these guys are in the gym a lot. They're getting a lot of shots throughout the day. School's back in session. It just goes back to what we told you before. You can't eat the cheese. You just got to constantly move forward, get better. We've been getting a lot of shots. We've been better there. I think we got to get more foul shooting in. That's an area that we can get better. Our defense is getting better in league. It's been pretty darn good. I'm happy about that. And then, those two things that we talked about at the beginning of the year, turning the ball over and then defensive rebounding. If we have those games where you have the 18 assists and 9 turnovers, we're pretty darn good. We have the game where you don't get, you out rebound a good rebounding team, you're doing pretty good. And so I think those things will be fluctuating and getting better. But those are the two kind of, gray areas that we're trying to get better at.
You mentioned the
Sorry.
improvements. Why have you seen that improvement in Pac-12 play, especially when it comes to like the
I just think, you're just more aware of these teams. We played them. You can go back and get film on what you did last year, this year, all the different things. And, I hate to say that you have more focus in league. It's really, I don't know if that's true or not true. I just think they have the rivalries. I mean, you're starting playing Washington State, and they have the 4 shooters, and they're all around. You got C.J. Elleby in the high post. I mean, all these, they pose different problems. They know the teams. They know the players. And so I don't think it's a league thing. I think we're confident, and we're believing. And when you see that and you feel it on the court, I think it's definitely an advantage, and you gain strength from it, and I think that's where we've been gaining strength.
How's practice been?
I think practice has been good. Yesterday was. Am I too honest? No, I'm kidding. Look at her. I'm kidding. Ash, you can laugh. What's funny is practice yesterday was. It's funny. One thing I always remember, you go back, I've worked for some great coaches and been around some of the best. And we used to walk, and Coach Boeheim would be walking, and he would, we'd have an awful practice after like a 2-day off. And he would go, days after, he goes, practices are horrible, especially after a day's off. So like yesterday, it's kind of like you go there and you're like, gosh, you wanted the execution to be better, and you want the focus to be better, and you want this. And I always say it's my inner Boeheim in the back going, it's through that experience. Usually practices are like that. So was it a good practice? No. Did we get what we had to get done? Yes. And that's where, the ghosts always creep up there in that earlobe. So was it good? No. But we got what we had to get in.
At like this point in time of the season, are you guys even practicing much, or have you changed that?
Well, you know what? Yesterday we went for about 2.5 hours, and that's longer than That's a when you're 49 years old, your feet hurt. You're like, gosh, I was on there too long. But we've been getting shots in the day. We're getting 300-400 makes. Trying to get them a lot of shooting, get them fresh. Feel like, you want them to keep developing, getting better. I think you've seen improvement there. Practices for me now are going to be, hour 15, hour 20 at max. Go in, do our job, get our scouting report done, see how we execute, and then, go be a college student. Get good grades, eat food, get some sleep. Don't get on Fortnite. We'll see you in the morning, baby.
You run in a guy in Quad A, and just the little bit I've seen him, he has a little bit different attitude than some of the guys out there. How's he impacted practice? He's impacted
it. They've been shorter, but they've been more intense. Great teammate, great leader, and all the guys have been meshing. So it's been really good for our team and for our guys. And iron sharpens iron.
I feel like you've gotten, or most people would say you've gotten production that you expected from Jalen, and Matisse. But I look at Nas, look at Dominic,
Yeah.
just those guys. I don't know if you want to call them role players.
Yeah.
But like those type of players, it seem like they've stepped up, and that's maybe the main difference with Jalen.
I think it's big. I think you're right. I mean, listen, the difference is obviously, Matisse, he's elite and all that. Noah, Jalen, David. It's the younger guys that now are old sophomores that have gotten a lot of experience, and they've had big games. And so many games when you have that type of production coming off the bench. I mean, Dominic just has 17, changes the scope of the game. Nas at Utah has 18. Sammy comes in 11 minutes and he has 7 rebounds, 4 points. That's what it's about. Jamal Bay in the last game, 3 steals, 1 block in 9 minutes. And we're getting incredible bench play. It gives us more depth. It gives more confidence, and it gives us more options. we've been in games right now where I played Matisse at the 4. Matisse, you're taking the ball. So where you can have a Matisse, even though he's on the top, he's playing the 4. Jalen's back there. You're dynamic. You got 4 perimeter guys out there, and I think that's just been a huge part of our success so far. And I think they're just getting better. I feel like right now, I think Hamir Wright is an elite defender. I think he's a lot better shooter than the numbers say. It was a little bit how we always felt about David. We felt like David was always a way better shooter than the numbers said. And then you start seeing it do what? And as a coach, it's like giving lessons. I used to give lessons to 6th grade kids, like tennis lessons or music lessons. And some kids had great learnability. Like you go and you work with them, and then you go to their game, and you've worked with them for about 2 weeks, and you can see them implement it, like what you've taught them. And then you have kids where you work at them, you go watch the game, like, man, we worked on that. You saw that, and then the next week you do it, and it takes him maybe 2 months, but then all of a sudden I'm seeing it's the greatest thing. And it's like watching Hamir out there. I know how he can shoot. I mean, he's been on fire, and I think that's the next guy to kind of take that next step, and not only give an output defensively, but I think can be a difference maker offensively. And it's a heck of a high-class problem, when you have 8 or 9 or 10 guys that you feel like you could start on any given night, and they can impact the game in a positive way.
Can you update us on Brian? Can you update it all?
You know what? He did a little defense yesterday, and it was awesome. He's done a really good job of, even though he had that injury, of strengthening other parts of his body. He had a lot of confidence yesterday. He moved exceptionally well, and it was so awesome because I did a little bit of a defensive drill, and I had to be around him. And so when I was in the pit and I was passing out, they were driving, and we were trying to do this drill on closing out, and I saw BP move in his size. You go, I like that. Yes, please. I'll take 3 of those, a Diet Coke, and some fries. We're still going back. Yesterday was the first day. It'll be, and he played half court, did 5 on. He didn't do anything full court. So.
Hey, do you think that the big 20-point games from Noah are a thing of the past simply because of the way teams are playing them?
I don't think so. I think, like we said before, we don't have the guy with the broken arm today. But the reality of it is the better we shoot, the more easier it's going to be for him. And listen, the last game we were in the bonus because of Noah. He drew a lot of fouls. He went to the foul line, and I think you watch games from last year. I think he's going to have some really big games coming up. He's too hard to guard down there. He's too good, and to his defense, I mean, he's getting. It's like they're building a wall around him. He's up there going like this. That's what they're doing. They're going like this. They're doing this, and that's a hard thing to do. It's a great compliment, though, right? It's the greatest compliment in sports. We're going to double team you, and we're designed to stop you. But that's where our team is getting better. Other guys are stepping up. They're finding their areas, their roles, and that's been a big bonus for us.